This leaked video from China has a very dark backstory. It shows a man named Lu Hua handcuffed to a metal chair. It seems like something from a TV show, but this is a real video from a Chinese police station. You may wonder what crime Lu Hua did to warrant this treatment. It's revealed his crime was simply criticizing the police on social media. Because of this, he was taken from his home, taken to a holding cell for many hours, and then interrogated in this metal chair. The police ask why did he complain about them on QQ and WeChat, two popular Chinese social networks. Lu Hua is clearly terrified, repeatedly apologizing, saying he's sorry and he knows what he did was wrong. He also begs them to forgive him and says he'll never badmouth them again. You may think the police are being harsh on Lu Hua, but this is the reality of going against the police in China. Use of these metal chairs is very common. China uses these metal chairs to make everyone scared and ensure they won't criticize the police or the government. The chairs are so widely used, they have their own nickname on Chinese social media, the Tiger Chair. It's wild to think that all Lu Hua did was criticize the police. But this goes against China's social credit system, which punishes civilians who speak out against the authorities. But an even more disturbing video from China is this. The video takes place in a small village in Suzhou, China. In the village, this man named Dong Mumen had been living with his family of 8 children. Dong and his family lived in a tiny shack, and the family had almost no money. But despite this family's difficult situation, Dong and his kids always seemed happy. Locals in his village found Dong's story very inspiring, and before long, this story began to spread, as Dong began to make videos showing his life on Douyin, which is the Chinese version of TikTok. He posted videos on his page named Father of 8, and these videos soon racked up millions of views. Soon, many fans of Dong's videos began to donate money to him. Other Douyin influencers also visited Dong and told their fans how to donate to Dong as well. People sent them food, clothing, and money, and it was all very inspiring and touching. But one day in January 2021, a Douyin influencer showed up to Dong's house. The influencer was planning on making a video with Dong, but instead, the influencer uncovered a dark secret. When the influencer arrived at Dong's house, Dong was not around, so instead he began to interview one of Dong's sons, who mentioned something very odd. The kid had food in his hand and said that he had to feed his mother. This was a bizarre thing to say, as no one online nor in real life had ever seen a mother figure in this family. People had simply assumed that Dong's wife was no longer in the picture, so the influencer asked the kids to show him their mother. The boy led the influencer to a small hut behind the house, and inside, this is what he saw. Inside the hut was a woman, with a padlock chain around her neck attached to the wall. The woman looked cold, hungry, and terrified. This was the first time Dong's wife and the mother of his kids had ever been seen. The video soon spread around China, as people realized Dong wasn't a sweet father of 8, but instead a very twisted man, keeping his own wife locked away in a hut, and using her to bear more kids, possibly in order to get more and more donation money. Dong later said that the woman was indeed his wife, but that she had a mental disability. He said that because of this, she would sometimes lose control and try to hurt people around her. So for everyone's safety, she was kept chained up. Surprisingly, the authorities said the same thing, and the police did not try to assist the woman at all. After the story went viral, police began to stop influencers going to the town, and journalists who wrote about this were arrested, as well as this influencer who made the first video showing Dong's wife. It seems Chinese authorities were trying to cover this up, as all this happened just days before the Winter Olympics in Beijing. This story had already begun to spread around the world, and thanks to all of the attention, the truth would soon be revealed. The lady's name was actually Qiao Huami, and she sadly had been the victim of human trafficking. In 1996, when she was 20 years old, she had been taken to a mental asylum. From there, she was sold to a human trafficking ring. She was then bought and sold on 3 separate occasions, with one of the buyers being Dong's father. Dong would then go on to marry her and use her to make children. Unlike what Dong said, she never tried to hurt anyone, as it was later revealed that she had a seizure disorder. It's a terrifying situation to think about, but had it not been for this influencer's chance visit and all of the public pressure, this woman may still be chained up living like this today. But thankfully, she has now finally been rescued, while Dong and various others have since been arrested. It's quite the fall from grace, going from one of Douyin's most inspirational creators to a monster who is now in prison for unspeakable things. But an even more disturbing video from China is this. What you're looking at may seem like a normal police vehicle, but it's actually what's known as an execution van. China uses execution as a punishment for many crimes, and since 2007, over 8,000 people have been executed in China. This sometimes happens in these mobile execution vans. In the back of these vans, prisoners are strapped to stretchers. They are then injected with deadly chemicals before their organs are harvested for transplant. Footage of these execution vans are very rare, but there have been several leaked videos and photos from police. It's very inhumane, and there is very little oversight. China carries out more executions than any other country in the world. The police often steal and privately sell the prisoners' organs, instead of donating them as is protocol. Prisoners' bodies are quickly cremated, making it impossible for family to see their loved ones for one last time. Unlike in the USA, where you can be on death row for decades, executions in China are sometimes carried out within weeks, largely thanks to these execution vans. But an even scarier video shows where many prisoners in China are held. All over China are secret prisons, known as black jails. These prisons are not controlled by the central government of China, but instead by local politicians. Many protesters and political rivals end up in these jails. One day, a journalist was given the address of one of these, and this is what she found. You can hear a woman inside the black jail screaming for help. The prisoner asked the journalist to save her, but she was quickly taken away by prison guards, who then locked the door. The imprisoned woman had been taken here off the record, with her friends and family having no idea what had happened to her. This is all done to quash dissent in China, making sure everyone is scared to go against the government. But an even more disturbing video is this. As you've already seen, human trafficking is a big problem in China, but Xiao is not the only example. This video shows another woman in a very similar situation. This woman's surname is Zong, and she had also been purchased by her husband. She had been seriously injured by her husband, leading to a mental disability caused by head trauma. She is unable to walk or stand, and has lived like this inside this hut for 20 years. She is left on the floor, unable to move to the bed, which is only a few feet away. According to reports, the video is under investigation, but there have been no updates since. And to this day, we don't know what happened to Zong. It seems crazy people still live like this in a country which has many rich and modern cities, which can be clearly seen in this next video. This is a forgotten underground village in China. The people here are so poor they have to live underground. The underground village can be found in Gansu province in China. The villagers here have been totally forgotten, with no running water or electricity. The villagers have to cook what little food they have using a fire, which is dangerous as they live underground. The average daily income in the village is around 2 yuan, or 30 US cent, with some working in nearby mines. The villagers also have no medical resources, and no school to learn, meaning that this cycle of poverty likely won't end anytime soon. But an even more disturbing video shows China's brainwashing camps. In 2019, drone footage confirmed what many had suspected. China had been arresting its Uyghur population in mass, and imprisoning them in brainwashing camps. Here you can see hundreds of detainees wearing blue, with their heads shaved and a blindfold covering their eyes. Police stand over the prisoners, casting a watchful eye. It's a haunting sight seeing seeing these rows of inmates detained, arrested for simply practicing their own faith. The video was filmed in Xinjiang, which is where hundreds of thousands of people have been sent to these brainwashing camps. China has claimed these don't exist, but these satellite photos, as well as videos of the camps, prove otherwise. These brainwashing camps are brutal. Prisoners are taught to love the Communist Party, and there are punishments for anyone who steps out of line. It truly is scary to think about how many people are locked inside these brainwashing camps right now. But a more bizarre video from China is this. In 2018, footage emerged of a man holding a bizarre, unknown sea creature. It looked almost human-like, but was still moving and was clearly alive. It was posted on Chinese social media before spreading to the rest of the world. It's believed the creature is a mutated starfish, which has a bizarre look due to this lake being polluted. The video really highlights the pollution which is rampant in China, as factories routinely dump chemical waste into water, causing damage to humans and the environment, as is bizarrely demonstrated in this video. But an even more disturbing video from China is this. In May of 2022, hackers released hundreds of photos and videos showing China's re-education camps in detail. You can see the barred windows, the large wire fences to prevent escape, and the large video surveillance screens in the prison. Hacked photos also showed how inmates are taken around the prison, with both their arms and legs handcuffed. Many mugshots were also hacked and leaked, showing that there are children and elderly people inside these camps. There is also a large military presence inside the camps, which is in stark contrast to the Chinese government's propaganda videos about these camps. In their highly choreographed video, they make it seem like an optional school, but these leaked photos show the disturbing truth. But an even more haunting video from inside a Chinese prison is this. You are watching a man saying his final goodbyes to his family before being executed in China. This took place in Heilongjiang province. The inmate is named Li Shuyan. You can hear his family members sobbing as he begs them not to cry. He also tells his mother to take good care of herself and says he hopes his whole family will be well. Unlike many death row inmates in China, he was allowed to see his family one last time before being taken away to an execution van. It's an incredibly sad video to watch and shows the harsh reality of life in China. Tell me in the comments which of these videos shocked you the most. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and be sure to watch this video next. I think you'll find it even more wild than this one.